Hello.
Hello.
We are Herpetology of the Apocalypse, a Homestuck commentary.
I am Homestuck, and this is commentary.
mm-hmm,
I am Ray, and this is Dee.
mm-hmm. And this is Frog.
Frog.
We got like two-headed snake and another snake, and there's a frog poster over there. I can't remember the frog poster's name.
Frog poster.
Yeah, it's not on the wall. It's the one that
Oh.
was on the table and stuff that we were planning to billboard on there.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
We had a name for it, but it's gone now. Like, it was a temporary name, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyway. It really was temporary.
I was thinking poster like square shape. We have no frog posters. Oh, but it's just a shape that is frog shaped. Okay, got it.
Frog.
Also, mugs.
Mugs. I got 3 frogs on my mug.
Ding. And tea.
Tea.
But not frog tea.
No.
Okay. You ready?
Yeah.
All right, silly one. 2258 is where we are starting.
Ooh.
We are starting at Rose's house with all the wizards.
Wizards.
So I went down several deep dives with this, and I covered the house, and I covered some wizard stuff. What do you want to do?
I'm going to start first because I doubt that I have as much as you do.
Okay.
My commentary is mostly talking about this wizard statue as per the way of things. This wizard dude looks like he has literal tufts of his beard just taken out of him. Just like on the edges of it. They're raggedy.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about how a lot of wizards assumedly would be basically, I am stuck inside all the time. So it makes sense in that way of like getting their hair knotted and stuff. But why would you put that on like a statue or something?
Beards just tend to be curlier than head hair for white people.
Fair, but I still think it's weird.
Okay.
Oh wait, I forgot that was all in that section. Anyways, mentioned that you're looking up crystal balls. I will talk about my PSA with crystal balls when you get to that part.
Thank you.
Thank you. But I was thinking about crystal balls either way because you talked about it. And I was thinking about orbs specifically because he's holding in the giant orb in his hand and blah, blah, blah. And there's a meme called Orb Pondering.
Is it Tumblr?
It is.
Okay.
Looks like this.
All right.
It was around the same time that people were doing the Big Naturals meme where they would edit giant boobs on Gandalf. So they put giant boobs on this wizard as well and blah, blah, blah. All kinds of shenanigans. But the origin of this specific picture is from a book called Middle-earth Quest, A Spy in Isengard. I probably mispronounced that.
No, I'm just like, really?
Yeah. The arts is, well, this is the cover image for it, that book. The art is made by Angus McBride, who died in 2007. He did lots of Lord of the Rings art, but he also drew a really cool serpent-looking dude. Like, he's just underwater hanging out, man.
Yeah. He's huge.
I have linked in the comments, or I will additionally put in the description here.
Yeah. He's got some excellent art.
Yeah.
70s sci-fi art is what he's listed under too.
My pen. All right, will you keep people entertained for a sec?
Oh, okay. It looks like I'm just diving down the hole as we speak. Angus McBride had a Men-at-Arms series of illustrations, which reminds me of Harry Pratchett. Uh-oh, I got a cough. Oh. How are we supposed to know which way is up and which way is down with this thing?
You don't.
Okay.
Well, originally I'm supposed to put like little eyeball things on it, but I think at this point having it look mysteriously frog is better for it.
Okay. I could prune down cleavage. But
I mean, I've already got one cleavage frog or creature. Anyways,
so when I was younger, and I first worked my first real job, TN, which was working at a nursing home. I worked a lot of night shifts, and at one point I got bored enough to like start putting on my heads and walking around. And people were like, "What are you doing?" And as soon as somebody gets resistant about something weird that I do, I automatically double down on it.
I mean, fair enough. That's the best way to get into the coolest things.
Okay, I have to do coughing stuff.
Okay.
Can we pause?
Yeah.
Thanks.
We live!
We live! Close enough to ready, anyway.
Yeah.
Enough coughing. All right.
Coughing of doom.
Continue.
Oh, the serpent illustration is in the magazine Finding Out, Volume 17, Number 3, which I could not find, but mostly because I did not look very hard. I just really liked the illustration. I was like, all right, I don't really care about the magazine itself.
Okay.
Yeah. That is what I have on this page. I'm going to let you go free, run wild, little horse.
Okay, so Rose's house. I think we kind of mentioned this earlier, but I spent more time looking at it this time.
Mm-hmm.
Rose's house is probably a combination of two famous modernist builders that were kind of centered around the 1930s. One was Frank Lloyd Wright, an American architect. His famous house that Rose's house draws on is called Falling Water. It's built over a stream, just as Rose's house is.
Oh, it's that one. Okay.
Yep. And then also the French architect Le Corbusier, which is a made-up title that he gave himself. It means like the crow maker or something kind of like that. It was also a variation of his grandfather's name. Why he didn't want to just do his own name, I don't know. His real name is Charles Edouard Jeanneret. His saying was, "A house is a machine for living in." Okay. And the house itself, it's situated like Falling Water, but it kind of looks more like Corbusier. So here are 5 main points of modern architecture, according to this guy. He's like, how will you know if something is modern architecture? Because it does this stuff. Pilates, using reinforced concrete stilts to lift the building off the ground. Open floor plan, structural walls are replaced by a grid of columns, allowing for flexible interior space. Free facade, the exterior walls are curtains that don't need to support the weight of the building. Ribbon windows, this is in the 2258. Long horizontal windows that provide even lighting and a panoramic view. And a roof garden, flat roofs used as functional green spaces to replace the land occupied by the building. And Frank Lloyd Wright was all about organic architecture and organic everything. He did a lot of stuff in a prairie style. Wright believed that any location you put a building in should be enhanced by the placement of a building rather than looking like the land is there to support the building.
Yeah.
Prairie style is a lot of flat surfaces, flat landscape stuff. He wanted the open plan because he felt like rooms were not meant to be boxes. And he used a lot of nature-inspired materials. So the upshot of thinking about architecture in this context is we're talking, first we see John's house. We get a lot of detail about the suburbs and shit. And now we're talking about modernist architecture. And it's also portrayed as being awkward and kind of unsettling and unpleasant. So
like the many wizards in the house.
Just that the big open staircase with no handrails, that kind of stuff, it's uncomfortable. So like modern architecture and suburbs are kind of the same thing, are equal. equally unpleasant, I think, in maybe trying to put an ideal structure around how people actually live. Because houses in the suburbs are just weird to live in. There's a lot of up and down and up and down, and like, why is this space like this? Is this how am I intended to use this open balcony hanging over top of the people below? Stuff like that.
What would you say Dave's apartment to be compared to? Is that
we haven't really looked at Dave's apartment much, or Dave's domicile, because we haven't seen the outside yet, I don't think.
No, not yet. So, all right, to be discussed later, if we remember.
No idea. So, moving on to wizards. This is entirely TMI.
All right.
Okay, so I looked up the wizard, learned that he was Zazarpan the Learned, and said, spoiler, and ditched that line of research. I was going to say he looks kind of like Gandalf, but he's holding an orb, which I went like, looks more like the Palantir, so probably more likely to be Saruman if he were a Lord of the Rings character.
It all comes back to Lord of the Rings.
Not really.
Well, so tear notes today.
Then I went, I don't feel like Andrew Hussey has much to do with Tolkien. Like, he doesn't seem like a Tolkien guy where like important white people cultural ideas are transmitted through retellings of Wagner and classic Old English / Old German myths. He feels much more closely tied to everything else but that. So I looked up crystal balls, and I went, wait, this points to the Roman Empire. That's Andrew Hussey. Okay. Greek and Roman myths are definitely him. So 5th century AD is the earliest crystal ball that's been tracked down as far as I could find. It was a part of the Roman Empire. It was I forgot to write this down, some French king who had an orb buried with him as a fortune-telling device. So some objects are thought to transcend time and space. And a crystal ball is supposed to be one of them.
Oh, okay.
So like visually, you look at a crystal ball and you're like, say this is before the real invention of consistently usable machined glass. So at best you have a large piece of quartz that just happens to have not cracked under the stresses of the planet. And it's shiny and it lets light through there, and it does things like set things on fire. Please give your warning.
Hey, this is a PSA. Please cover your crystal balls, or else they will set your house on fire by reflecting lights. Just keep them covered if you're not watching them right now. That is all.
Okay. Anyway, also, you never know who's looking out.
Sure, but the biggest reason for normal people who are like, oh, I just like the ball, keep it covered. Yeah. No house fires. Thank you.
Yeah, so like a regular piece of crystal is like a rose quartz. It's sort of translucent, but it's not clear. Yeah. So you've got one rare clear piece of rock that is not so cracked that you can't see through it, and it can focus light and bend it in weird ways. It's not until I want to say Isaac Newton that people really started Western culture really started experimenting with lenses. So people didn't have a clue until like the 1640s what caused lenses to do what they did. They just were like, this happens to work, we're going to fry somebody with it at best. So they've got these crystal balls, and people also throughout history have been like, we don't know how the world works, so we're going to try to hack the gods somehow. We're going to try and like do some weird shit that messes with the universe. Magic. So when you're looking at a crystal ball, it's not just magic. It is, I'm going to find a way to get through the crystal ball, step outside of the universe, affect the universe, and then come back in. Either by method of contacting a spirit medium, which is how most spiritualists actually do it, or by contacting angels. Okay, so we've been talking kind of about Gnostic stuff, and I've been slowly chipping away at like, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know that. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
I was looking at crystal balls, and I found out that John Dee, the British magician, was a famous practitioner of crystal ball magic and kind of developed the first systems around it.
Mm-hmm.
John Dee was from about the time of Shakespeare, so like 1580s type thing. And he was Christian, and he brown-nosed Queen Elizabeth I, which meant that he didn't get like set on fire.
Sorry, I'm having thoughts about like magic as a system versus like how magic is usually portrayed in shows and stuff, and magic being like woo woogly in shows and stuff, but the way it's been practiced in real life is like we are doing this a science way, kind of sciencey way, to specifically fuck with God.
Yeah, you're like on a TV show, you're like, just use your spirit and feel real hard, and maybe chant some Latin.
Yeah, and like maybe your chest will start glowing purple.
Meanwhile, the literal alchemists and magicians, hermetic magicians, are like, we need a compass and protractor for this shit, and goddamn if we aren't going to erase some trait out of the universe. Okay,
like it's closer to alchemy than what we think of magic now.
It's closer to what we think of alchemy now than what we think of magic now, even though what we think of alchemy now is way off too.
Yeah.
Anyway, so like Full Metal Alchemist alchemy, and not just like, I have 2 bottles, I will put them together. What is the result? Who knows?
Dunk.
Yeah. Anyway, John Dee. Back to John Dee. So John Dee was before there was science. We're pretty sure. Like there were like sort of like the ancient Greeks were like, hey, let's measure some things and make some guesses about the universe. But the first time that people started to sit down and said, what if we don't start with the theory first and then go to the facts? What if we start measuring facts first and then start making a theory out of facts? We have to start with facts, then go to theory. And that started in 1620 with Francis Bacon, and we talked about him recently. He's the guy who was the inspiration for The Name of the Rose and the William of Baskerville.
Ah, okay.
Or one of the inspirations of. Anyway, so Francis Bacon valued measuring things and then going, what are the facts that these measured things imply? Then we're going to go back and check the facts, which is not how people did anything before that. They were just like, God exists and math exists. Success. Step 1, God exists. Step 2, math exists. Step 3, ... 4, success. That was how the universe worked as far as they knew. So back at John Dee, he's doing things like using crystal balls to talk to angels and weird shit like that, at the same time that he's like, the specific angel that I'm talking to is the angel of knowledge, Uriel, and therefore I will collect all of the possible books on the subject of knowledge because my angelic patron kind of is interested in that thing, and I will donate it to the crown, which later becomes part of the basis for scientific knowledge. He's like, he is headed down a path towards scientific discovery in the weirdest fucking way possible. Anyway,
magic equals science.
In 1564, he wrote a book called Monas Hieroglyphica, and it was to explain the meaning of a glyph that he created. It was the system around the glyph was mostly based on Jewish Kabbalah, cleanup for Christians. The book cover looks like this, which is not quite the same as the book covers that we've seen in the series, but is probably contributing towards that. And the glyph looks, I looked at the glyph and I was like, it looks like a cyclops with horns. But it's the combination of a bunch of planets, alchemical symbols for planets and fire. And anyway, meditating on this glyph is supposed to give you the insight you need to hack the universe.
It looks like a dude just taking a
I will
pee.
show you this again. Just like the answer to the universe is this.
Looks like a spore creature.
I don't know. I was just like, this is the world's cutest cyclops stick figure. The symbol is intended to embody, a profound concept representing the unity of all creation, influenced by celestial forces. Yeah, let's see. Skim. Anyway, you're supposed to be able to gain insights into the hidden knowledge about the universe, transcending language barriers and tapping into profound truths.
I think God literally said, no, don't do that before with the whole Tower of Babel, bud.
Yeah. It's hard to say. These people are like, yes, I believe in God. And you're kind of like, I wish you wouldn't. Not because of atheism. Just stop. If you believe there's an all-knowing, all-powerful God, and you're like, step 1, believe in God. Step 2, fuck with God. What is wrong with you? Seriously.
Honestly, if I was a god or something seeing this happen, I would be like, this is the silliest little ant. Have at it, bud. You try your best, little buddy. Throw some little sugar cubes at it, see what happens.
I would be the opposite god. What? This itches, squick. And I think we've mentioned this before. Jorge Luis Borges, Argentine writer of all things really kind of messed up. The guy who wrote about the map that's the same size as yeah. He wrote another story called The Aleph, probably his most famous story, about a guy who, the pettiest of all people, who's like, I'm only friends with this guy because we both have a crush on the same movie star. And then I went over to his house and he showed me that he has a secret spot under his basement stairs where if you look into it and meditate, you can see the entire universe all at the same time. And it's called the spot is called the Aleph, which is the Aleph is a Hebrew letter also used as a glyph sometimes, a magical symbol. So here we have a crystal ball and a crystal ball and a glyph, both by John Dee. He also had a magic mirror. Let's hold this up.
Wah, wah, wah.
And it was made of obsidian.
Oh, must have been hard.
And you know where he got it?
What?
You know where he got it?
Where?
It was stolen from Aztec priests in the New World.
How many people is he gonna fuck with?
All of them. Anyway, eventually the magic mirror ended up in the possession of Horace Walpole, who is the guy who wrote the first Gothic novel, The Castle of Otranto, and who lived in a weird manor, Strawberry Hill, that was kind of based on his idea of what a proper Gothic castle should look like. Just a weird freaking place. Okay. And he also did magical discs, which were like big pieces of beeswax inscribed with symbols and stuff that looked like Full Metal Alchemist things. They were called the Seal of God, and he would put them on especially also inscribed tabletop, and they would hold seances, basically. Not seances per se, because that was a thing that came from the late 1900s, earliest 20th century, but they would have they'd sit around the table and meditate upon the universe. And incidentally, total other thing, John Dee, after he kind of lost favor with the Elizabethan court, a guy glommed onto him who was basically a spiritualist medium. And it seems like John Dee was like good in good faith. He was serious about everything he was doing. And this other guy was a con artist who was just like, how can I get more money and more sex out of this?
Mm-hmm.
So this other guy who's named Edwin Talbot, Edward Kelly. There we go. Edward Talbot, who changed his name to Kelly after he got caught doing something and had to run away. Anyway, Edward Kelly started feeding John Dee bullshit answers about the angels had messages for him, and they came up with this whole angelic script. So if you see stuff about angelic script, it comes from this one dude who is like, I have a decades-long way of ripping people off. I am going all ham on it.
I think the angel script is in Supernatural, so
yeah,
it's funny the places it goes.
I think if ever we get to a huge supernatural project, we're going to be talking way more about Gnosticism than we want, because it's all over the place in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we get through John Dee.
Sorry, I just gotta say it because every time you say John Dee, my brain goes, John Dee's nuts. Anyways,
well, a side note, that's John Dee. He ends up right before he dies. The Edward Kelly guy goes, you know what the angels told me now?
mm-hmm.
We should wife swap. That is holy and good. So they did, and John Dee was like, I don't want this. I don't want this at all. But God said so. Through this guy, through an angel. And so he swapped wives, and he probably had one kid that belonged to this other guy. And the whole angel of knowledge thing's total side note to a million other side notes. The angel of knowledge was supposedly placed in charge of the demons helping the Gnostic demiurge Yaldabaoth create Adam, the first man. So angel, demon, work crew. Okay. And Yaldabaoth is a Gnostic figure who keeps souls trapped in the material bodies in the material universe and looks just like fucking Typhoeus, the web browser.
Yep.
Anyway, I was like, how did... I think I'm going on random tangents, and then at the end of every random tangent that I follow down, I'm like, Homestuck. Okay. And that concludes... Oh, no, it doesn't. I have one more thing. A good fiction book to get a feel for the time period that I'm talking about with John Dee and whatnot is Michael Moorcock's Gloriana. It's a fiction book, obviously, but it's very engaging, and it includes most of the characters from the court at that time in ways that will make you go, oh, okay. I kind of see how this is connected to that. And it's full of sex, some of which is non-consensual, so you're warned.
Beware.
Beware. And that concludes our 2258 ramble about architecture and wizards. I think everything else is at least slightly less lengthy.
Good. I'm on 2260. What are you?
I'm 2259. I'm going to keep talking.
Do you need some more tea or anything?
No, I'm good.
Okay.
2259. She psychoanalyzes her mom's love of wizards. Psychoanalysis. Type of therapy based on the idea that there are two modes of the brain, conscious and subconscious. And it's mostly started with Freud. It assumes that people are primed or programmed by their early experiences, specifically around key points in their development of a sense of self. If that development is interrupted, the person will have patterns of issues that emerge later in life. So psychoanalysts often study patterns in the person's life, and there's a strong focus on dreams, and they're looking for patterns that are indicative of where the disruption in self-development occurred. The psychoanalyst then does things that cause the patient to resist becoming fully aware of the pattern.
Okay.
Because people whose sense of self is disrupted are kind of encapsulated in a small container of self. So like, instead of having an inner 2-year-old and inner 3-year-old and inner 4-year-old, whatever, as you progress through life, people whose sense of self is disrupted stop at a certain spot.
Yeah.
Like they stop developing in a certain spot. And they strongly resist getting older interiorly because it feels terrifying, according to this theory. And it feels like ego death in order to grow up if you are stuck in a certain phase. So like someone who's internally always 12 and a half will go, I don't want to face any further challenges because it feels like my 12-year-old self will die. I've been living so long as a 12-year-old that I don't know what it feels like to be anything older or more mature or able to cope. So I was like, that's pretty cool considering like all of the stuff about Homestuck so far is kind of like going, suburb, we have to come out. Mm-hmm. It feels like death. Mm-hmm. So I thought that was pretty cool. The job of the psychotherapist is to help lead the person, often by tricking them into coming out of that 12-and-a-half-year-old shell. Mm-hmm. If the psychoanalyst hasn't done their own work to fix their sense of self, and usually people who become interested in psychotherapy are themselves kind of broken people, because otherwise, why would you care? Mm-hmm. These people can transfer, according to Freudian theory, they can transfer or blame their own unhealed traits on the person they're psychoanalyzing, which means that Rose and her mom fucking with each other is all about two people inflicting their own damage on another person. There we go. The wizard stuff.
Wizards.
I was like, oh, this reminds me of Discworld. Again, Terry Pratchett was on my brain this week. And Rincewind, the wizard character who has the hats with sequins that spell out the word wizard, Wizzard. And the magic of Rincewind is only really one thing, and it's running away. That's what he is wise about. He is wise about one thing. Mm-hmm. And the quote is, of the three things that most people know about the horse, the third is that over a short distance, it can't run as fast as a man. As Rincewind had learned to his advantage, it had more legs to sort out. I couldn't find any sources for the wizard statues. It looked like, without getting into too much spoiler shit, that they were all like fake statues or like plaster statues on eBay or some shit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, they remind me of those statues when we used to go to, not technically antique shops, but they'd have these glass shelves with bunches of wizards and dragons. And
flea markets.
And there'd be like a giant orb, but it's also technically water fountain, water wheel thing, and it just rotates the giant ball orb thing.
Yeah. Cheesy 80s shit. Yeah. But still going on today.
Yippee!
All right, 2261.
I got 2260.
Go for
it. There's a Persian/Iranian rug in the background, and like we'll see, there's more later in the entirety of this living roomish area, just throwing Persian rugs around and stuff. But they cost like thousands to tens of thousands of dollars per Persian rug and stuff. And I was like, this house is just absolutely filled with wealthy things in a way that I don't think that this person is used to being wealthy at all. Like as in the
so tacky.
Yeah. Like it's not tacky in the way of, ooh, I finally get to decorate this the way that I want to, and the way you'd see you'd be a person who's like artistic and would do it and stuff. This is, I have a specific interest in things, and I must look rich, so I'm going to do as many of these things as possible, kind of thing. Like spamming wizards everywhere, or having a 20-foot wizard statue cutting a hole in the roof to bring in said 20-foot wizard statue into your house in a building that's based off of a famous architect's building, two famous architects' buildings over a giant waterfall. I don't think Rose's mom is used to wealth at all and is not coping with it well at all.
I think most wealthy people aren't used to wealth in the way that we think of it.
Mm.
Like, you remember the I guess it's mostly YouTube, maybe it's also Instagram, I don't know. But the short videos, that's the woman who's like, let's see what the riches are up to today.
Mhm.
And today it's a 5,000 pair of blue jeans with no ass cheeks. You know that you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know who that is.
No, I don't either. But
she pops up every once in a while. I'm like, hee hee hee.
Yes.
But I think most rich people are like, either we do things the way that we learn to do them, with traditional signs and symbols of wealth, or we go nuts because there's nothing to stop us.
Yeah.
So I think this is kind of a combination of both. The modernist building is a modernist building in a prime location, which Rose's house is a definite sign of wealth. Cool, we got that right. What do we put on the inside?
Rugs that cost lots of money because they're fancy.
Or something like that, yeah. And we know that Rose's mom is damaged because of the way she treats her daughter.
Mm-hmm. And the alcohol everywhere.
Yeah. So we know she has issues and has not, perhaps, because she's in psychotherapy mode, perhaps she is still stuck back in, like, internally she is 6. And what does wealth mean? Wealth means all the things. And it means whatever you first learned was a sign of wealth, a rug.
Yeah. Those wizard statues you wish you had as a kid, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or I would have been that way.
I was all about unicorns.
Both magical creatures, defying God, apparently. That was the other thing I was thinking about with the rugs, is that Russian people used to have, well, not used to, they have rugs on the walls for insulation against the cold.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I didn't know that was still a thing, but alright.
Oh, yeah, sometimes, mostly in older generations. But I've saw that it was mostly started around the Soviet Union stuff. So I was like, yes, that makes a lot more sense. Thank you. But I was also like, a rug would be a really cool wall art, like, because they're always fancily designed on purpose. It may be
a Persian rug.
Yeah.
Okay, because I'm like, some rugs are boring.
Yeah. But like I've seen punch rugs, as in macrame. Yeah. But those kind of rugs, and was like, I would have that on a wall too, kind of thing. Except it would be like there's a texture and I can actually mess with it. Yeah.
Fiber art. There we go. I think something like that. Yeah, I wouldn't mind having fiber art up, but
yeah,
we're going for the corkboard first.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyways, that is what I had on 2060.
Okay.
Or 2260.
2261 I have.
Same, but I have a small one.
Same.
Wait.
I'll go first. Yes. She hears the sound of rushing water under the house, and that's what to me says this is partly based on falling water. The inside of the building looks much more like a Corbusier interior, though. It's white, it's fucking open, and there's no fucking railings on the fucking stairs, which I think is creepy and awful. Anyway.
Yeah. Apparently, lots of Europe does not have handrails and stuff, and I'm like, I know. A part of me just does not believe that's true, because why wouldn't you have handrails and stuff? But the other part of me goes, and I don't think I just don't want to believe it, because it just sounds so creepy and stuff.
Right.
Yeah.
Older buildings have handrails, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Like I can think of like a ton of Art Deco buildings that I've looked at, and they're like all about here is a bronze handrail. It's swoopy.
Yeah. But like Germany and stuff. No.
More modern stuff. I don't know.
Anyways, anything else you wanted to say on this room?
Nope.
Okay. I wanted to note that I could see 12 wizard statues in this picture. There's also like various fancy furniture, like specific tables for the wizard statues, fancy chairs, regular looking bookshelves that just are bookshelves TM.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the wizard statue isn't particularly placed on anything, it's just across the stairs. More rugs. Um, yeah, just
Yeah.
absolutely filled with wizard statues, basically.
Mm-hmm.
That was what I had.
Okay. 2262.
Same. You or me?
Okay. Rock,
Okay.
paper, scissors. What do you want to do?
I'll take it.
Okay.
So I'm going to start this off by saying I have a headcanon about Rose's mom.
Okay.
That partially goes against some of the psychoanalysis stuff you've been talking about, but not entirely. You're talking about how she's 6 internally, and I think she really is just 6 internally. And I don't think that, because of that, I don't think necessarily that everything she is doing to Rose is malicious. I think that she's, or her being a jerk or whatever, I think she just does not know how to do affection in the slightest and has decided to I will put whatever you like out there. You have some thoughts about wizard statues and wizards, right? So I'll put wizard statues everywhere. Um, just we'll see later on with the fridge stuff, and I'll talk more about that. But just stuff that I'm like, this is the whole ironies thing with Dave, but in Roselight, and I don't think that it's really meant to be an irony to Rose's mom. It's just her not knowing how to show affection.
I think it's also ironic. A lot of times, people who are damaged as kids or who haven't really grown up as kids, they have a malicious streak to them because it takes maturity to let something go. So when you're a kid, if somebody makes you mad, it's very hard to forgive them because you don't have that perspective. But when somebody makes you mad as an adult, you can be like, do I value this relationship? Yes or no? Okay, we'll talk it out.
Mm-hmm.
And her mom does not have that perspective. She is like, you didn't like what I did for you. Well, you're not going to like what I do for you now. If you didn't like the first thing, I'm going to make sure you really don't like the second. Yeah. I meant well right up to that point, and then you hurt my feelings. Yeah.
In this case, with the bronzing of the vacuum, I was like, I genuinely can't tell if she was just being teasing or mean, or if she just genuinely did like it a lot and like made an alteration to it so that now it can be forever hers and Rose's kind of thing, a combo of the two. In the same way that later on, well, on the sofa was the princess stuffed animal thing that Rose altered in the same way of the whole bronzing the vacuum thing to make it look more Cthulhu-esque and stuff. I think that it's a, hey, this is the way we show affection thing to her mom and not a teasing way.
I think there are two different things going on there.
That's fair.
I think I agree with you on the princess thing, but I just disagree with you on the vacuum cleaner thing. Because in 2009, I would be way closer to Rose's mom's age than I would be to Rose's age. So I feel like that is a very specific vacuum cleaner. It is a heavy Kirby model. And I have vacuumed with that fucking thing. And it weighed a ton. And it was sloppy. And it didn't really ever break, but it got jammed a lot with hair and things. You couldn't tell when it was full. It was a pain in the ass to maintain. You had to maintain it. It never broke, but you always were dicking around with it to make sure that it actually ran. And it was so hard to move around. It was heavy and it was unpleasant. And there is like a tradition of more boomers than Gen Xers, but like people buying their spouses cleaning equipment for birthdays.
Yeah.
So to Rose's mom, it may have seemed like Rose was saying, why can't you be my traditional mom? And so she's like, I'll be your traditional mom. Here we go. Wait, you know what traditional moms do? They bronze their babies' shoes. That was a big thing in the boomer generation too. You get your baby's first shoes and you would send them off to a company and they would dunk them in bronze.
That was something I was going to mention, by the way.
Bring it back to you. Anyway, I have way more stuff to say on that. Do you want to finish out what you're going to say?
Yeah, I have more things to say. So I also wanted to note that I think that Rose got into psychoanalysis and psychology because of her mom, specifically trying to figure out what the fuck was going on with her mom. Yeah. Which is both sweet and sad, I think.
Yeah.
As for bronzing itself, I was like, I think in Broken Age, the point and click game we played, they had bronzed baby toys and shoes and all that kind of stuff as a puzzle.
Yeah, on the shelves in that one's like in the glass cases in the shelves.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I guess it's something that's been popularized, but I've never seen it before. Homestuck kind of thing.
In the olden days.
Found a company that does do bronzing still to this day. It can cost hundreds to thousands, though. And they bronze things like shoes, as mentioned, and a baby rattle. And I was like, side note, what the fuck on that? But also, does the baby rattle still rattle? That's my biggest question. Does it now go clunk, 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 clunk for the baby? But anyways, point being, I thought it was the weirdest, creepiest thing. They have a bunch of images on there that's comparison of the normal thing before bronzing to the bronze version. And I was like, this is scary. Yeah.
I have things to say that will make that worse.
Have at it.
Okay. This reminds me of a short story by mystery writer Dorothy Sayers, who is one of the golden age mystery writers around the same time as Agatha Christie getting started. And the story, I forget what it's called, but it's part of the Lord Peter Wimsey set of short stories. And it's about, it's a murder case because it's a mystery. And the guy, it ends up, spoiler alert for a 1930s mystery, it ends up that the killer is bronzing his victims. He is taking them and putting them full body, electroplating them first with, I think, tin and then copper. And he builds them into couches and things like that. And the detective comes in and is trying to search, oh yes, you're a very, very talented sculptor. And he accidentally on purpose breaks off one of the pinky toes on one of the sculptures, and he's like, yeah, there's a bone in there. Calls the cops, the guy gets arrested, blah blah blah. But
a side note, in Gravity Falls, Bill Cipher builds a giant throne of statuified people, and that may have been a reference to this. Or
both of those things are references to something else.
Oh god. Please tell me it didn't happen in real life.
It gets worse.
Oh god.
Okay, so this is about a Roman overseer, we'll call him that, a general named Marcus Licinius Crassus. I forgot to write down what year it was, but I want to say it was like AD something. I don't remember. Anyway, he was governing the modern day country of Syria, which is in the Middle East, and he got greedy and tried to cross over into Parthia, which is now Iran, and conquer the country there because he was very greedy, right? So he finds somebody who's like, yeah, I'll betray the Parthian government. I never really liked them. Give me a bunch of money, make it worth my while. They did. And this dude's like, leads them out into the desert and to a massive ambush. So the Parthians wipe out a ton of the Romans, The remaining Romans are like, look, you have to negotiate with these guys. We're all gonna die out here. We're gonna dehydrate and die.
Mm-hmm.
And so they go to talk with the Parthian leaders, and the Parthian leaders are like, cool, let's talk. And what they do is they take this guy and they pour molten gold down his throat, and they say, hope your greed for wealth has been filled. Your thirst for wealth has been filled.
That reminds me of how people pour like molten metal down ant hills.
Kind of, yeah. I want to say, I can't remember where this was from, but I want to say like at least I know at least one, but I want to say there are at least two sci-fi examples of people or like fantasy sci-fi writers doing this, and one of them I think is R.A. Lafferty, um, in the late '60s, early '70s, wrote a ton of really weird stories about gold, and I think he had a couple of them where like people had molten gold poured over them based on this story. Only there were aliens and weird shit involved, and time was being folded. R.A. Lafferty was a very weird writer, and I think George R.R. Martin said, "I like that idea, yoink," and he used that in Game of Thrones.
Isn't it in Star Wars too with Han Solo? Except he's like
kind of he's kind of just frozen and stuff, and then thawed out later. There are also stories of several local kingdoms in South America killing conquistadors this way, but they're not really well documented.
Sure.
Side note: Falling Water has built-in pedestals for art to force people to buy art to put on top of them.
You will look at art and you will like it.
Yes, which I think is also being done in this house. Anyway, that's what I got for that. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I feel heard.
Uh-huh. Off to the next page?
Yes.
Okay. This is 2263, the page with the princess that's now Cthulhu-ified.
Okay.
Or Eldritch-ified.
I want to go first because I have a question for you.
Yeah.
I think that's a Cthulhu reference to the shape of the princess's head, or the covering of her head.
Very squid-like.
She's called an eldritch princess, which translates to a weird in a way that inspires fear. It comes from Old English words for elf and kingdom, eld and reach. Elves in Old English stories are eldritch and very not good. And this reminds me of Terry Pratchett, because we're back to Terry Pratchett again. He uses the tropes of the uncanny elves and in Lords and Ladies, We Free Men, and Shepherd's Crown. But the question is, knitting. I kind of saw somewhere that John gave Rose knitting stuff for her birthday recently. That's correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. She's done really well very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I would think that like the Cthulhu head would not be knitting, it would be crochet. But that's just me. Because isn't that how you make origami, is crochet? When you do crochet, why would you knit a head? But if you knew how to make caps, then that would work. I don't know.
Yeah, it might be a cap. I mean, assumedly, there's like, it's got the same shape for head, and you would just put a cap over it and then sew it on the same way you'd have like a beanie or something.
Right, yeah. But like a crochet, like an origami, would be way smoother and easier to put features on and all kinds of fun stuff. Anyway,
well, maybe she didn't know about that, or maybe she
can do both. And Hussey is just like, it's all knitting to me.
Yeah, probably.
Okay.
I mean, maybe. So I wanted to note that the princess is another item that is too big to catalog, similar to the Harlequin before, and also the car.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
All three of those were too big.
Oh, what was that?
That's 3:00. Hey, it's 3:00.
Hey, happy 3.
Happy 3.
Okay.
Anyways, all three too big for cataloging. definitely not dependent on actual physical weight of the thing, since comparing stuffed animal to car and stuff. Um, just dimension size. And I was like, the dimension size of what's allowed to be captured is a lot smaller than I thought, kind of thing. Because if you think about like this stuffed giant stuffed animal, you could probably like get a biggish box and just curl it in itself or squish it in stuff. For if it was a real physical box you could put it in, but obviously you can't do that with the capsule log apparently.
That makes me wonder. I want to look. Unfortunately, I'm kind of far back.
Rip.
I haven't been keeping up. Go ahead and keep going.
I was looking at this princess doll and I was wondering if John's dad has made contact with Rose's mom at this point, and that's why he got the Harlequin doll, because he was like, oh, your daughter really liked this doll. Maybe I should get a giant doll for John, kind of thing. I think that the parents here are not very good at parenting.
They're messed up. We know this. Okay.
Just was like, well, I mean, if your love language is I'm gonna fuck with the thing and make alterations with it, well, quote unquote love language, then I guess you could consider Rose's actions as love of the thing, and as such, sure, Rose loved the thing, why not John?
I got nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong. That's all I got.
That's actually all I have to say on that frame.
Okay.
Did you want to say anything yourself?
On
2263, I
already did.
Oh, wait, yes, you're right. Oh, that's right. You were looking for the page for some reason.
Yep.
Okay. Then good to go to the next one?
Yep. Okay. 64. Do you have anything for that?
No, I got 66.
Yeah, I just went pick up umbrella. You'll have a hell of a time accessing that later. I don't know. I just like foreshadowing.
Okay. Then to 66. Or did you want to say 65 first?
65.
Okay.
I just want to mention that liquor bottles being out in full force sent me down the rabbit hole of we know that John has a drink, Ecto Cooler. We made that, and so I've been trying to figure out what to make for Rose. And I talked about it with Ray, and there are dark and terrible things involved with it. But I think I have a particular answer that will please nobody. Anyway, it will please me. So
we will be darkly amused by it, I guess.
As an amateur mixologist, I'm like, he. Yes. Theme drinks. Anyway, that was it.
Okay. So here we are at the next page. We are at now 2266. The giant framed picture of the cat's drawing with a poem attached to the fridge.
I have a feeling you're going to cover anything that I would say and cover it better, so just go ham on this.
Okay, so one, I completely forgot that she welded that to the fucking fridge. I was like, oh my god, damn, lady.
I was like, that's nothing a chisel won't fix.
I'm honestly surprised Rose has not done something else to the frame to make it fancier, like since she's gotten into knitting some
glitter.
Kind of no. Since she's gotten into knitting some kind of cozy around it so that the edges won't get brunched or whatever, that kind of thing. But just was like, they're just topping each other at this point.
One-upping.
Yes.
Topping is different.
Yeah, sorry. But past that, no, I did not, in fact, have lots to say. I'm so sorry.
I was like, it seems like they're both trying to enshrine and lock into place things that normally you would grow out of.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, that with the psychoanalyst, if they're operating on a psychoanalytical basis, in the course of the story, that makes sense because locking somebody in place in time is par for the course. That's all I have.
Oh, I think that this particular cat drawing and poem were written when Rose was young, so I don't think she added anything. Rose has added anything new to it recently. So
okay.
That's why I didn't mention that.
Okay.
But that is what I have to say on that. Yeah.
I remember when you were little and first started bringing home art projects from preschool and school, you were like, but why didn't you keep them? Or you'd give me like 50 million dandelions. And why didn't you keep them? I was like, well, you can't keep everything. And you were very upset about that for a while.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like this is like the opposite of that. Like as a kid, you think, no, I have to keep everything. It's important. It's a treasure. Or I'm going to resist keeping everything. It's not important. It's a treasure because it really feels like it should be a treasure and you're just going to fight that urge. But to a mature human mind, it goes, you can't keep all of the things that somebody gives you. You have to make choices.
Sorry, complete side note on the dandelions thing. My brain remembered the memory of me trying to shove my tiny little hands through a fence just to get dandelions at the old school.
Yep.
Yeah. I could just fit my hands through those fences, man.
There's an Aesop's fable about that. Like I think it was a crow one where the crow is supposed to take something out of the jar and they can get their head in until the monkey in the nut. A monkey is trying to get a nut out of a bottle and he can't. How do you catch a monkey? Oh, it's not an Aesop's fable. It's from what's his name that did the Jungle Book? Kipling, Richard Kipling.
Oh, okay.
So that's in India. How one catches a monkey is you put a jar and nut, and the monkey will not let go of the nut. And I think that was in The Man Who Would Be King. I don't remember for sure. Maybe I'm wrong. I'll look it up later.
Okay. Well, if you remember it, send it over to me, and I'll put it in the description.
All right. I'll write myself a note, which means you have to talk for a minute.
Okay.
We both need to talk for a minute because we're both trying to do notes.
I will go first. Yes. So it was interesting that Rose wrote out shrew with 2 V's and stuff.
Much like Vivitch.
Which is a
horror movie.
Oh, no, I was thinking of Assassination Classroom. One of the assassin teachers is Miss Vivitch, or Miss, who they called Miss Bitch.
Miss Bitch.
Yeah.
No, I was thinking like literally the Robert Eggers movie, The Witch. It's spelled Bvitch.
Oh.
If you look at it carefully, it's a cleft W, much like a cleft hoof on a goat. All right. Anyway,
we will see more shenanigans with V's in the future.
Will we?
Yes.
Oh no.
Okay. But it'll be so long that we both forget that it was something to pay attention to.
Right.
Anyways, so was like, oh, it's interesting that she wrote shrew with the 2 V's and stuff. It's both childish to do magnets on the fridge, and like it's specifically those little single letter colorful magnets instead of like, I don't know, poem magnets. I don't know if those were a thing back then. It seemed like they probably would be.
I want to say poem magnets were mid-90s.
Oh, then yeah, obviously they would have been possible.
2009, definitely.
Yeah. I think this in particular does show the whole trying to keep the childishness thing. They're both using it to mess with each other, yes. Perhaps the magnets in the first place were bought as a, well, you're childish thing. And so Rose has responded by doing a childish insult with the childish magnets, and it goes further on from there. Anything you wanted to say yourself on this?
My next thing is 2270.
Oh. All right. Then we are going on to the W section. No. I think it's... Oh, no, that is in 2070s. All right. Then you have at it.
I just thought it was super cute when Rose is sticking the stickers on her face, the green W.
Mm-hmm.
And I went, is this going to show up later? And we have purple and green. I'm like, is this going to show up later in relation to garden Gnostic? So I just went.
How so? What are you meaning? Like,
So this is the first frame
mm-hmm.
that Rose is engaging with something with a bright color that is not purple.
Mm-hmm.
And she sticks it on her face.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same green that had Garden Gnostic has. So I was like, is this a connection between the two characters on some level?
Mustaches and silly W's.
No, not anything literal, just like how does Rose get out of Roseness? How does Rose solve the problem of being Rose?
Oh.
And let's stick something green on her face. It seems like the first truly whimsical and not just whimsical thing that she does.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Anyway, I was like, if colors are important, perhaps this color exchange is important because it seems significant. Maybe not.
I will not say nor confirm nor deny.
Okay.
I got 2272.
74.
Okay. This is when Rose deposits 12 cents into the missing part of the W and stuff. It reminds me a lot of the whole every action is transactional thing. In this case, there is literally a transaction. Specifically, it's meant for irony, teasing, messing with each other thing, but it's kind of not messing with each other in a way. It feels very literal. I will pay you back for everything.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's just another part of the whole, this relationship kind of thing.
I agree.
Yeah. That was what I had to say on that.
Okay.
Let's do your pillow thing. Or 2274.
2274, she takes the pillow and the Sylladex rebalances. Now the umbrella is at the top. Da-dum, da-dum. Like earlier she says, it'll be hell to get at the umbrella. And then it rebalances. So now the umbrella at the top should be easy to get at. Anyway.
Doom, we say.
2276 after that.
Okay. Oh, yeah, same 2276.
Okay. I think I don't have a lot to say, so I'm going to go first.
Okay.
The mom appears. She's holding a classic martini and a much lighter mop, not the vacuum cleaner, and an empty bucket. So she's parodying 1950s June Cleaver mom type stuff.
Yeah. Reminding me of the whole vacuum thing you were saying. Oh, yes, I'll be the traditional mom you're thinking of. Yeah.
Yep. So she's both trying to be the traditional mom and failing. But also, in the 1950s, a lot of the people were dealing with PTSD then from World War II. The guys came back from World War II, knocked up their spouses, and then were mean to them because they were not recovered and they were in a shitstorm. And so the wives were doing things like, let's have Tupperware parties and let's invent Jell-O. Oh, let's put lettuce in Jell-O. And there was a lot of substance abuse then, a lot of drinking and things, a lot of sleeping pills, things like that. As parents tried to get, particularly women were like, I have no rights. I can't have a bank account. I can't get divorced. And I'm stuck with this, basically my rapist for the rest of my life. And so what am I going to do? I'm going to drink myself into oblivion. So the image of the wife with the martini and throwing cocktail parties and stuff covers over a desperate attempt at a solution because of unequal rights.
I don't think in this situation that Rose's mom is dealing with that particularly, but I do think that she is dealing with things that she does not want to be dealing with.
Right, but she's got a 1950s hairstyle and outfit.
Yeah.
like a cartoon. Like she's dressed like the Jetsons, and the Jetsons is making fun of the 1950s.
As a side note, specifically on that, I was looking at Rose's mom's silhouette, and I was like, "This reminds me of something very specific." Like, I can't say that bit because that's going to be a minor spoiler to you. The hairdo itself reminded me of the Jetsons, and I tried to figure out if the mom or anything like that looked specifically like that, and I was like, no, this is not specifically the Jetsons. This is something else combined with it. And I could not figure out what that other combined it with was.
I think, if nothing else, it's at least Mars Attacks.
Mars Attacks.
Yeah.
I'll look that up.
Which was a movie, but I think it was also a comic strip before that.
Mars Attacks, movies and comics.
And side note, we now have seen a silhouette of John's dad and a silhouette of Rose's mom, and they both are parody figures from the 1950s. This is the housewife stereotype, and this is the husband stereotype with the pipe and he looks like HR Bob Dobbs, you know.
Mm-hmm. So, except he's baking as many cakes as physically he can.
Yeah, like he's momming excessively, and the mom is like not. So I'm like, what other fucked up shit are we up to see with the other characters? I don't know. It'll be icky, for sure.
Right. Okay. That is what I had to say pretty much in 2276.
Oh, I have one more thing on there.
Right.
The narrator cuts off mid-word and is also surprised by the mom's appearance. Okay, go ahead. I have 78 next.
Oh. You have at it.
Okay. This bird's gotta fly. I was like, this sounds like a quote. And the closest I could get was Kurt Vonnegut. And I was like, I'm going to see how far I can take this, and I hope I don't come back to Homestuck. Spoiler alert. Okay. The quote is, tiger got to hunt, bird got to fly, man got to sit and wonder why. Tiger got to sleep, bird got to land, man got to tell himself he understand. It's from Kurt Vonnegut, a novel called Cat's Cradle. Mm-hmm. Kurt Vonnegut, sci-fi writer. He was a writer of weird counterculture novels, and he worked at the University of Iowa. I forget what the actual writer program name is, but it's the Writers Workshop at University of Iowa. Which, side note, I forgot to look this up because I just thought, oh yeah, I took it for granted that everybody knows it. Was actually the FBI infiltrated a bunch of cultural stuff in the 50s and 60s to like put out propaganda to make America more American, and he was part of that program.
Oh,
yeah. Anyway, he was in World War II, and in '69 he wrote his most famous book, which was called Slaughterhouse-Five, about surviving World War II and being firebombed as a German prisoner of war in Dresden. So the Allies firebombed the entire city for 2 days straight and killed everybody except for a bunch of prisoners down in the basement that had been shoved down there to starve and die. He was one of them. They rescued him in real life, and then he wrote a novel about it. But in the novel, as the character approaches that event, the PTSD that he suffers in the future affects him in real life in the present, and he becomes unstuck in time. So like this is Slaughterhouse-Five is one of the earliest like non-linear novels, and it was so famous and so influential. It's hard to think that Hussey, at least second or third hand, wasn't influenced downstream by, we're going to take somebody's trauma and turn it into making them a sort of mini god with no control over time, but certainly powers that they shouldn't have. He's in the course of the novel, also, he's abducted by aliens and taken to a place called Tralfamadore, which shows up in several Kurt Vonnegut books. I went, oh, that makes me think of Trogdor, because I couldn't remember. I'm like, is that the same thing? What's that guy called? So I asked you. No, it's Trogdor. It's in Strongbad. And there wasn't actually a connection at all directly between the two. But of course, then there's Homestuck. It looks like Strong Bad it gets referenced in Homestuck at some point, like especially with the muscular arms and things like that. And it certainly seems like it's an influence in Sweet Bro and Hella Jeff type of humor. Yeah. And definitely Vonnegut was seminal in the nonlinear sci-fi shit. So I was like, there's sort of a connection, and it's Homestuck. Damn it. Cat's Cradle.
Uh-huh.
It's a book that starts out with, "Call me Jonah. My parents did, or nearly did. They called me John." I was like, aha, John. And it's a reference to Moby Dick's opening, "Call me Ishmael."
Mm-hmm.
And Jonah is a biblical character who gets swallowed and then barfed up by a whale as a sign of a miracle.
Mm-hmm.
And it contains a fake religion, Barcononism. And this is where I was like, damn, this starts getting cutting close to the home with Homestuck stuff. Some tenets of Bokononism, the fake religion that Vonnegut made up: a karass, K-A-R-A-S-S, a group of people linked in a cosmically significant manner, even when superficial linkages are not evident. Dupras, a karass of only two people who almost always die within a week of each other. The typical example is a loving couple who work together for a great purpose. Grand Falloon, a false karass, i.e., a group of people who imagine they have a connection that does not really exist. Example is Hoosiers. Hoosiers are people from Indiana, and Hoosiers have no true spiritual destiny in common. They really share little more than a name. Wampeter, the central theme or purpose of a karass. Each karass has two wampeters at any given time, one waxing and one waning. Forma, harmless untruths.
Mm-hmm.
So, in the story, the maker of the atomic bomb was playing Cat's Cradle, the kid's string game, when Hiroshima happened. Later, he comes up with this stuff called Ice 9, which is a form of water that freezes at room temperature. And it also is a seed crystal. So anything it touches, it converts to Ice 9. And when he dies, his three kids have some of this shit each sealed up in a thermos, so that all three of them, the children of the bomb maker, have the opportunity to destroy all life on Earth, because they just dump it in the ocean. And then what are you going to do? So I was like, that sounds very much like a Homestuck theme. All of that does. And also, he wrote a novel called Slapstick.
Okay.
With a clown face on it. Okay. That's the cover. He says it was his most autobiographical because his life has felt like one performed by a slapstick comedian. In this book, it's about a pair of twins, one of whom is seen as exceptionally intelligent and the other one is seen as mentally deficient because she refuses to speak. Like the autism is strong with this pair. They have a plan called Lonesome No More, where everyone has an assigned middle name that consists of a noun and a number. If the noun matches someone else, no matter what kind of stranger they are, you have to treat them like a cousin. And if the noun and the number match, then they are your brother and sister, and you owe them the same courtesy.
Okay.
Yep. And that was the last thing that I wrote for anything, but that was my last big discursion as well.
Yeah, I'm pretty much done too. So,
okay.
Yippee!
Kurt Vonnegut, man. Like, I don't know if Hussey liked Vonnegut, but it seems like they're on the same wavelength.
Such is way.
Such is way.
Well, thank you for joining us.
All right.
We'll see you next week.
See you next time.